know below in the comments, but let's go ahead and get into it. There was a woman in the Bronx, let's call her Juliet. She went on Instagram to find men, struck up conversations with them, and out of all of the men, she was able to convince 2 of them to meet up with her. She planned to meet one of them on December 3rd, 2021, and the other on the following day on December 4th. These men, they were happy to meet up with a new from IG who had offered them to hang out with her in the Bronx. So they're thinking, okay, she's an attractive woman. Everything is all good. So December 3rd, the first Romeo, he's 24 years old. He met up with Juliet at 11:30 p.m. near a contractor's office on Anthony Avenue, near the Cross Bronx Expressway in Claremont Village. And the IG Juliet, she showed up. She's a real person. You know, just like he thought she would be from the pictures, videos, and IG stories. But it's one thing he didn't know. Juliet didn't show up alone. He found out very quickly that she had 2 men with her. They ordered Romeo at gunpoint to remove his clothing and property, and then the men got into Romeo's 2018 Infiniti and drove off with his car. The next day, December 4th, that's the day Juliet convinced another Romeo, we'll call him Romeo 2. Juliet was able to convince a 27-year-old man to meet her on a residential block in Eastchester. According to authorities, Romeo 2 showed up at about 8:00 p.m. and he was confronted by 2 men who took his cell phone, his coat, a chain, and a gold ring. Unlike Romeo 1, Romeo 2 managed to get away with his car, but as he was speeding away, the 2 men opened fire, striking his car as he fled away. Fortunately, Romeo 1 and Romeo 2, they're doing okay, they got away, but the 2 men and the Juliet from IG, they're still out there and possibly coming for more Romeos in the Bronx. Now, some people may say, well, it's just a cold winter in New York. Too much concrete. I guess any excuse to say it's a one-off incident. Let's look at Flagstaff, Arizona. Another man, we can call him Romeo 3. He arranged to meet up with this woman. He met her on Instagram. She's been identified as Lily Beeler. Lily is from Las Vegas, but she was in Arizona when this happened. Romeo 3, he was sleeping on his couch and he was woken up by the sound of gunshots. He said that Lily shot at him twice with a pink and silver handgun. Luckily, Romeo 3, he wasn't injured. He ran upstairs, and that's where he was able to hide until Lily left. But before leaving, Lily helped herself to his money, his laptops, shoes, and jewelry. Lily took whatever that she could find and carry out of there. Then she picked up her phone. She went into the app and called Lyft. Lily had to get away somehow, so she ordered a Lyft driver to come and pick her up from Romeo's house. According to Lyft, Lily was dropped off somewhere near Interstate 40, wearing a black plaid shirt, blue jeans, red shoes, and carrying a black gym bag, Romeo 3's money, jewelry, and everything in it. Now let's go back a couple of weeks. Head over to Memphis, Tennessee, and we'll call him Romeo number 4. Romeo 4 said that he was on a dating app. He met a woman named Sonia. He went to meet up with Sonia on November 15th, 2021 at her apartment in the 8000 block of Sag Harbor Circle. He knocked on the door, and hey, it was Sonia. At least that's what he thought. But before Romeo could even sit down, here comes a man and another woman. They told Romeo 4 to give them his cell phone, his keys, and his wallet. He refused to give his belongings up, so they all started putting paws on Romeo. They grabbed him up, took him into the parking lot, and threw him in the backseat of a Honda. 2 women in the front and driver passenger seats, while the man was in the backseat with Romeo 4. Romeo noticed that all 3 of them had guns, and they were all telling him that they would kill him. So what happened next? Well, they just drove around town with Romeo sitting there. At some point though, they stopped the car. He got out and he ran into the woods while the men and the 2 women, they let off about 5 shots. Romeo 4, he hid in the woods until he believed that it was all clear. That's when he came out of the woods and he walked to the Methodist North Hospital. 4 people identified and taken in for this. Jasmine A. Williams, 22 years old. Trevor Keys, 32 years old, Nadia Townsend, 29 years old, and Jasmine S. Williams, 22 years old. At least one of these women posed as Sonya. Not sure if it was the first Jasmine Williams or the second Jasmine Williams. And then you have the other two women who met Romeo 4 at the house along with Trevor. Now, fortunately for Romeo number 4, he was also able to make it out of this situation because it looks like Pookie and the Cruellas, they almost took him out. Let's make one more stop. Cincinnati, Ohio. I have to share this last story right here with you. It's really going to help a lot of people, especially young men like Darnay Almond. Darnay, very hardworking. As a teenager, he worked at an amusement park where he was granted the Outstanding Customer Support Award for his excellent customer service. He also worked at Chick-fil-A before he worked at a retirement home. Darnay, he's a respectful young man with a great attitude, enrolled at the University of Cincinnati, highly ambitious. He was able to hold on to 2 jobs while in college. Well, his dream is to own a real estate company. But all of that came to a halt on July 29th, 2021. Darnay met a young woman on Facebook. After online communication, Darnay planned to meet up with the woman in person at a bar. They agreed to meet up at Sydney's, located in the 1100 block of Kemper Road in the Forest Park area of Cincinnati. It was about 2 a.m. in the morning when one of the patrons from the bar discovered Darnay across the street. Darnay had been shot, so the patron called the police. Authorities rushed to the scene where Darnay was declared DOA. Within 2 weeks, 2 teenagers were identified in connection with the case, 18-year-old DeAndre Manning and the 16-year-old Juliet, whose name wasn't released. Investigators started to piece the puzzle together. According to reports, Darnay met the Juliet on Facebook and the two arranged to meet up at the bar to hang out. What he didn't know was that she was 16 years old and she had another plan for Darnay.
The insurance company called. They just offered me $500.
And she had another plan for Darnay. The girl made a plan with another teenager, 18-year-old DeAndre Manning. They met Darnay outside of the bar and tried to steal money from him. It was about $100. They shot Darnay and fled the scene. Darnay's family got together and held a candlelight vigil. It took place on the anniversary of Darnay's father's passing. His father suffered from colon cancer. And one of Darnay's cousins, Danita Beavers, she spoke out before his 21st birthday because Darnay, he would have been 21 on September 20th, 2021. But Danita, she said that she had no sympathy for the people responsible, and she said that she hoped they get what they deserve.